Hello and welcome to this section on how to identify where you're losing points in the listening section. So we have the first step is do the sample questions from this website, which is I've given a link here. You can just create a free account and you can scroll to the top, and these are the questions you can use. You can use this worksheet. There's a link here. It opens into a worksheet like this. And what you do is just go on file, make a copy, and save that in in your Google Drive. I highly recommend saving it on Google Drive, or you can also download it over here, but I recommend using Google Drive. And then what you do is, so you have a summary here of each question type that impacts the listening section. Okay. And then you have the number of questions that you are supposed to be doing. So we have some high value questions where I've increased the number of questions you should be doing. So we have a larger sample set. For some low questions, the question number of questions you need to do are low, and this is the number of time that it takes to do per each question, and this is the total number of time. So you should complete this entire exercise in less than 2 hours if you're following this, if you're doing it in this recommended time frame. Okay, so and in the next sheet you have the spreadsheet where you can enter details about the samples that you have, sample questions that you have done. So I'll just go over one example. For example, the multiple choice, multiple answer. I'll go into this guide. I'll go into the multiple choice, multiple answer, and then I will basically listen to the entire recording, which is around 2 minutes here, and I will select the correct answer, and then I'll click on submit, and then you kind of get your score. So it's the correct answer is C and E, and I've selected B, C, and E. So I get 1 out of 2. Okay. So that score. So for example, over here, I will enter 2 because that is the maximum amount of marks, and my score is 1. So since this is a variable, the number of marks that you can get is variable depending on the number of options that are correct. So it might be 2, it might be 3. So just look at the number of marks that are there per question here, and then accordingly just modify this score over here, and then enter your score here, and then you'll get a calculation that shows you in the exam basically what percentage of points you would have lost towards your overall 90 score. So if this is 1, that means 1% of your score is coming out from the multiple answer. So you do that same process for some questions which I've highlighted in gray. It's fixed because they have fixed number of marks. So for example, it's all 1 mark. Whereas for fill in the blanks, again, oops. Yeah, just imagine this was the listening fill in the blanks. So for each box that you have, it is 1 mark. So for example, in this question it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this has like 8 marks. So I would select 8. I would enter 8 here because that's the number of questions. So you can blank this all out before you start. I just provided what it looks like as an example, and then you enter your score. So if you got 5 blanks correctly, you enter 5. Okay, and yeah, you will get your scores at the end over here once you click on submit. So you do that for all of these questions. For the questions that are invite, the actual marks per question will vary, but this spreadsheet does all the calculations for you. And once you've entered all this correctly and you've done all the questions, just enter the number of marks for that question, the score that you got, and it calculates on average how many marks have you lost per question. Okay, so for example, in this I've just filled out sample numbers here. Before we get to that, there are 2 questions such as the summarized spoken text and retail lecture where you can simply estimate your score based on the content. So you can look at the sample answer, look at your score, and just put a rough estimate about your score. Okay, so do not think too much about this. Just put a score. If you're unsure, just put half. It doesn't matter. Okay, so just put 3 for the retail lecture, maybe if you're not sure, or 1 for summarized spoken text. Okay, so don't worry too much about how you're scoring this content. It does not matter in the large scheme of things. Okay, so once you've done all these exercises correctly, it should take you like I said 2 hours. We have the percentage weight for each question here, and your score is here. It's calculated. All these are auto calculated, and it calculates how many points you have lost overall. So for example, in this question, I have 76. I would have scored 76 in the exam with this performance, and then the where are these marks being deducted from. So I can look here and see, okay, which question is am I losing marks on. So the repeat sentence is something where I've lost like 6 marks. The right from dictation, I've lost 4 marks. Fill in the blanks and highlight incorrect words, I've lost 2 marks. So these are all questions that I would then look and see, okay, how do I improve in these questions. But now once you've done this exercise, you will identify what are the specific question types in the exam which is causing you to lose your marks on, and then you can follow the instructions in the rest of the document on how to improve it. So that's it for this video. Make sure you do this exercise. It's set aside 2 hours and just do this and identify which area are you struggling with.